just so my campaign manager doesn't kill me. You're all invited to a kickoff event on April 28th at 7 at Thread Guilds. Matt, I said it. I don't know where you are. On Riverside. 50 years ago, on a West Texas night like this, a woman that I love very much was in her home fighting for her life. She had been backed into the corner of her bedroom by her husband, who was holding a knife. And she only had two questions on her mind, and that was, how am I going to live through this? How am I going to protect my kids? Now, this woman was extraordinary. She had started a credit union at 19. By the time I knew her, she had already been a city judge and raised several children, and they were stable, beautiful kids, even despite this legacy of domestic violence. Now, I didn't know this about my grandmother when I was sitting in her sunroom at the age of 8, and I walked up to a Time magazine she had on the table and mouthed off something that I'd heard from some conservative on the radio. And Grandma just looked at me and she said, "Derrick, I don't know why those men think this is any of their business." And that just blew my mind. It opened me up to the idea that the adults don't all agree and I have to think for myself in politics. And that launched me on a path that took me to Washington as a congressional staffer. It brought me back to Austin as a nonprofit communications director. It took me into a world where I was a small business owner, and now I'm working for a nonprofit that directly addresses violence against women. And I think Grandma would be appalled by the men who are in office right now. Right now, they have us backed into a corner. And they want us to feel afraid. And the question on our mind tonight is, how are we going to get through this, and how are we going to protect our kids? So the answer to number one is, look around you. This is how we're going to get through this. We're going to organize, energize, mobilize, and we're going to roll back that Trump agenda and drive him out of office. The second thing we're going to do, how do we protect our kids? We're going to get Lamar Smith out of this chair so that our kids have a chance at a future worth living, so that climate change doesn't wreck everything that we hold dear, and that we all have a chance to have representation in Congress that we can be proud of, that fights for us against corporate interests, and that makes sure that everyone enjoys the blessings of this great country. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.